The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the Riv, the end of another exciting week.
And it's beautiful weather out there. It's supposed to be like this all weekend.
It's like fallish out there.
I know, it is. It's great.
This morning it was in the 50s when I went out with the dog. Yep.
I've had my air conditioning off. I've had my windows open.
Yep.
It's been nice.
Refreshing.
So far, 2 days, it's supposed to be nice. I guess it's supposed to be like this all weekend. And remember, everybody, there is a Feast of the Holy Ghost going on at the Liberal Club starting tonight at 5 o'clock and runs all weekend. You know, it's an annual event that we didn't have last year, so everyone's looking forward to it this year. They want that mulassadage and the kind of speed, and they want that food, baby. They want that food.
Oh, yeah. Big day, big chow day. So, and the campaign, we're getting down to the wire now. I mean, we're about, we're only 2 weeks and a few days away from the primary.
Right.
And I guess there's a debate coming up,
there are two debates coming up. I'm bringing up the information now.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, September 8th, which is only a few days away, there will be a debate at the Merrow Building, which is the old Anderson Little building on Bedford Street. The public can be there, and it is open to the public. So we'll see. I don't know how many people they'll be able to get in there, but it should be an interesting debate. It's being run by the Fall River Reporter, and I guess they're going to be airing it on Facebook because that's where they seem to air most of their debates. I'm not sure if either FRC Media or Fall River Government Television is going to pick up that, but they'll probably send somebody.
Just got a message. It will be live on Channel 95 on
okay, great.
Channel, yes.
Well, that's good. So people can watch it on Channel 95 right here on the station we air on, and that will be a great plus because I think we need to be able to do that. I was concerned that the debate wouldn't get aired to enough people publicly to get the information out. And then the second debate is on Friday, a week today, September 10th, and that's going to be at the Azorean Cultural Center, 120 Cove Street in Fall River. That's the old, I think the old Italian Progressive Club.
I think so too.
I think that's the old Italian Progressive Club. Again? What
was the street?
Covell Street.
Yeah, that's probably no, that's not the Italian Progressive. That's the old. I'm sorry, Covell. That is the old. I think that's the old. What was the name of the Italian American Club? The IPC isn't the IPC down on Birch Street?
Yes, that's right. The IPC is down on Birch Street.
I think that's the old Italian. The Italian American Club that used to be. Actually, that's where we held our union meetings when I first got on the fire department for a long time. Yeah, that's the one on Covell Street. Yeah, that's in the Flint, obviously. So
right.
But that debate is going to be in Portuguese, correct?
Correct. That debate will be in Portuguese, and that debate begins at 6 p.m.
So the debate if you don't understand Portuguese, probably don't go to the debate because you won't understand unless you bring an interpreter.
Well, no, there's actually going to be interpreters for many, if not all, of the candidates. So hopefully they're going to run that a little more than an hour. The debate on Wednesday by the Fall River Reporter is going to air from 7 to 8 p.m. So that's going to be an hour. That's 15 minutes for each candidate total. That should be enough. But I don't think you can get all your information out in debates like this. The candidate statements that are given every year on FRC Media are already out. I've watched Paul's, I've watched Cliff's, and I've watched this other gentleman's. I'm not going to go there. But I would suggest that if you got access to YouTube, grab a quick glimpse of those candidate statements and see what they have to say, if anything. They're basically very placating.
Yeah. Well, look, we always tell everybody that watches us, whether they agree or disagree with us, we always tell them to educate themselves and do as much research into real issues as possible on all the candidates.
Right.
And, make an informed decision, and not a decision based on, what they market themselves as. Let's look at performances and look at platforms and look at things, and that's it. But these debates. Look, I remember the old Italian club. I don't know if it's been renovated because we had our union meetings. It's not an extremely large hall. They do have a hall there. It's I'd say it's probably, before it's a medium-sized facility. I have no idea how they set up that Merrow manufacturing for people, because I mean, the last time I was in there, it was Anderson Little. For God's sake. So I don't know how they get that set up, and I don't know what the accommodations for seating at a debate will be. So go at your own risk, I guess. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It's always
our producer just encouraged me to have our viewers watch the debate from home, because it will be aired live, as you said, on Channel 95. The Portuguese debate is going to be taped. It's going to be recorded. Then they're still trying to determine whether or not they'll do it live. But the Portuguese debate will be recorded, so it will be aired on Channel 95 at some point. So, but again, the production crew and the station would like us to...
We're also getting another message. There's no room for people
at the first debate.
Well, I have to encourage people to watch from home anyway. I mean, non-committed people, because, you and I have run numerous debates throughout the years, and we know that most of the time the audience is comprised of factions of each candidate, and that comprises the majority of people who go in, and even seating is at a premium for people who are actually going to the debate to try to, see what these candidates are about. You have to get there an hour early to get a seat, even if they're in an auditorium. And realistically, the best way to watch it, at least in my opinion, because Steve and the crew and Keith always do a great job of broadcasting this. You're in the comfort of your own home, and you're in the comfort of your own home. You can listen to what's going on, and then you can kind of just filter out you can mute all the yelling and the screaming and the clapping and stuff from partisan crews, because to me, I when I'm going to watch, it's like watching a city council meeting. I really, at this point in time, I can hit myself in a hammer easier in the head by watching it on TV than being down there and listening to all the side talk. So and that's a great thing. It's a great service provided, and take advantage of it, really, because I don't know how the seating is. If you go down there and you can't get seated, then you got to run home and try to get the debate on. But hey, we're just trying to give you as much information as we can. And like I said, I don't know anything about the way Merrill is set up now. So,
right. I mean, like you said, I think the last time I was in that building was when I was working as a visiting nurse. After Anderson Little had already left. But I remember Anderson Little had some great suits there.
Yeah, very good suits.
I used to get a couple of them there. But it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I'm going to have to watch this. And again, our producers saying that they should, encourage to watch this from home because there's no room for people at the first debate. And that was my problem with Fall River Reporter doing a debate, was the fact that there's no place for the public to attend. Not everyone is on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a very good point because, there are a lot of people, especially people who really vote a lot, which are people who are older. We have a lot of people that, older people are not on Twitter and all the other platforms and Facebook and stuff like that. I mean, look, I'm not really, I don't do Facebook really. I'll bring it in once in a while and look at what's going on if somebody sends me a link or something like that. But I mean, there are a lot of people that just don't do Facebook, and sometimes they don't get a link to get to that debate. And like you say, the most convenient thing is to punch in the channel that you watch us on. If you're watching us, you can watch the debate. That's as simple as it gets.
Right. But again, as I said, it's kind of tough this year for debates. Just like last year, you really couldn't have any debates. But it's kind of tough this year with debates because they really haven't opened the schools up enough to allow us in to have a debate. And these outside sources like Fall River Reporter are holding them to benefit the public. But at the same time, they're not holding them in a public venue. This is being held in their studios, most likely. And that creates a problem because people want to attend. Some people want to be there in person, whether it's to support their candidate or whether it be to get a view of them. Because, sometimes TV doesn't pick up all the little things like the writhing of the fingers and the hands and the jumping of the knee and, the things that make the candidate nervous. And you can't see those always on TV. And people like to see that because they get an idea of the truthfulness of the candidate, how comfortable the candidate is. Would the candidate make a good elected official by looking at their body language? And body language is very important for a lot of these people. So especially people who have hearing disabilities, and it makes it difficult for them because while they're reading lips or getting the information whichever way they can, they're looking at that body language because it tells them more. So
yeah, well, that's kind of so for somebody who really does their homework, a little sophisticated person. And a lot of these, as I said, the problem with these debates is that the majority of people that go there in person are partisan. They're there because they're there to support their candidate and cheerlead and give the impression. That's why we always say, listen, basically block out all that noise, that white noise, and forget about it and listen to what they say, watch their body language. If you can read that stuff, and most people can, it's always, I always love to watch the debates, to watch it, to see if a candidate becomes unraveled, because sometimes you see them really, really lose, you can see that they've lost control of the debate at some point in times with certain questions and things. And it's always an adventure because it's live and it's good to see. And it's good to see a candidate under the gun a little bit, and so it is what it is. And go do your homework, because during campaign season, it's normally historically pretty quiet. Candidates try not to blow themselves up in the weeks prior to that. So they're going to do as little as possible except campaign. That's the reality. We know that they're doing as little as possible, except doing things that are politically advantageous to them. Just like when when our mayor decided to give tours of the school that he advocated for with the debt override. And he did it on 9/11. And I think that's something that should come up at the debate. He should be held accountable. It is just inconceivable, especially in light of what just happened in Afghanistan.
Right.
And, to the 20th anniversary of one of the most heinous acts in the history of the world, to basically say, oh, we forgot. It slipped my mind, or we'll have a moment of silence while I'm touring the school and getting a photo op. So I can show everybody, look, I did this. I built this school. I did, it's my, I was the guy that was the point man. We are in favor of building a new school. I don't think we should have spent as much money. But the fact is, I also didn't believe in a debt override, but I believe in education. Both of my children are educated and have advanced degrees, as you do. The fact is that I am probably one of the most pro-education people you'll ever find, including even vocational education, because I'm a big advocate of apprenticeship programs and trade training. I'm a big advocate. I'm not a big advocate of urinating money in a hole all the time, which is what public education does, and making the taxpayer subsidize incompetence. But to have school tours on a day that should be of solemn remembrance, and then try to cover by saying, well, we'll do something at the school, we'll have a moment of silence or something, that's like throwing salt in the wound.
Right.
Mr.
Right.
Mayor, you should be standing on the battleship with firefighters and police officers who represent first responders who died. The majority of first responders, the biggest life loss of public safety was the fire service. 343 firefighters died on 9/11.
It's amazing how the numbers we never forget.
Yeah.
We remember all the numbers.
Yeah, because I actually knew some of those individuals who died. They were members of the New York City Firefighter Union, and I used to see them at conventions. And actually, the secretary treasurer of the International Association of Firefighters, Vinnie Bolin, was on one of the ladder companies that responded. He was a lieutenant in the FDNY.
Right.
And he was on, I think, one of the first responding ladder companies. He was assigned to that unit. So he lost people that were in his own house, his own company. So I knew some of those people who responded, and I know them all because they had the same profession. They always ran into buildings where people are running out, as did the police officers and even civilians. And to forget that, and to not be alongside the people in a solemn remembrance of that sacrifice, of that day, of that loss, to me, shows a callous disregard for that holiday.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
It should be a holiday. It really should. We made June 19th, Juneteenth, a holiday, a federal holiday. 9/11 should be a federal holiday. I'm not looking for more days off. Don't get me wrong. I'm not looking for more days off or more holiday days.
I consider it a holiday. It's not
right.
An official holiday. But Juneteenth, what year was that? Remind me again. 16 something?
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic that the United States of America made a holiday for a day that this was not the United States of America?
Hold on a second. I want to get the exact thing for Juneteenth. So, what is Juneteenth? Juneteenth, short for June 19th, marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865 to take control of the state. That's what it's about. It's also about, I guess they're talking about the ending of slavery. Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery in the United States from its Galveston, Texas origin in 1865. So that's where it comes from, and that's what it's about. And they made that a holiday. So
I stand corrected.
Right.
Because I thought it was about the first slaves being brought. Because frankly, I wasn't really invested in that holiday. That holiday was a political holiday created by politicians who were pandering, and it's ironic because for every one of these panderers, you have an antithesis. And I actually yesterday when I was on a treadmill for my hour that I do 5 days a week, and I was listening not to music because I alternate. And I advise you to go on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and you can listen to it. I listened to a 1964 speech from Malcolm X, and it was called, if you want to look it up on YouTube, it is called Ballots or Bullets. It is really, really a educational speech. Listen to what Malcolm X said in that speech. He said a lot of things that are inflammatory, but the speech was virtually an hour long. And in 1964, Malcolm X said in that speech, and I'm paraphrasing now because I intend to put it down in writing someday so I can read some of the parts that really I thought were staggering. He talked about how the liberal Democrats had done nothing for the blacks in the United States in 1964, up until 1964, except give them lip service. And he went into great detail on how the Democratic Party and the left wing of the Democratic Party had made all kinds of promises, and yet they never got anything done. Even though they were in 1964, as they are today, they had total control of the government. They had a majority in the House, they had a majority in the Senate, and so they had a total majority as they do now. Well, the Senate isn't. Actually, they had better because they had a majority in the Senate. There's no majority. It's basically 50-50. But the reality is they had greater power than they have today, and they did absolutely nothing. And isn't it ironic that now, all these years later, nearly 60 years later, 57 years later, we have people basically saying the same thing. All these liberals do is pander and create holidays and stuff, and really don't do anything to make it actual equality, not equity, to equal opportunity for everyone. And the Democrats have always been the party that pretends. But listen to that speech. I'm not gonna try to explain it. Listen to it. Listen to it. There were obviously at that time, Malcolm X was a black nationalist, and after he went to Mecca and he found out that they were white-skinned, blue-eyed Muslims too, he kind of changed his opinion, and then they assassinated him because he got a little bit more in touch with the fact that it's the content of the character, not the color of the skin. And he made one of my favorite quotes at that time. He said, "I am for the truth, no matter who tells it, and I'm for justice, no matter who it's for." And truer words were never spoken. And
right.
So pay attention, because elections are important, and do not listen to lip service. But by all means, if you really want to have an eye-opening and enlightening 51 minutes, listen to that speech.
It'd be an hour well spent. Do you know where Malcolm X was from?
Not really.
Boston.
I think I remember that. I think I remember the movie when Denzel Washington played him. But I was, I did a lot of reading with Malcolm X, and Malcolm X was a extremely bright guy.
Yes, he was.
He made a lot of great points, and he was not for handouts. You listen to that speech; it was about Black people taking care of themselves, creating your own businesses. He went into detail how the liberal left tries to keep them dependent, just like they're doing now. They want to give everybody a handout and keep everybody dependent. He was a great advocate about making no excuses. Let the Black man work together to improve the Black man's lot. And he didn't hold the white people for anything but, hey, doing what they thought for themselves, and they have to do for themselves. But that speech is, I hadn't listened to it in a long, long time. And when I was looking for something besides music to listen to, that's the kind of stuff. So maybe I'm kind of weird, but yeah, I listen to that kind of stuff.
Let me make a couple of corrections. Malcolm X was born in Omaha, Nebraska. He worked out of Roxbury, and he served as a train server aboard the Yankee Clipper route from Boston to New York. And that's how he got convicted of crimes of robbery and sentenced to 8 to 10 years in the Charlestown State Prison. Boy, I haven't heard Charlestown State Prison.
That's a long time, yeah.
That's a long way gone. But he did his criminal activities in Roxbury and in Harlem. So a little history lesson for you. How do you like that one?
You can learn from every facet, and Malcolm X even got, started his own wing of the Black Muslims because he began to disagree with their policies. But he was a brilliant guy. I mean, he was a brilliant guy, a man who truly was educated by his life and throughout his life. I'll tell you, people, you should, rather than thoroughly modern Millie running, talking about white rage and learning about that. He should have been a general. And something, maybe it's time for American rage, Americans of all colors and beliefs to be outraged by what this government is doing to this nation.
Well, in the last minute, I want to take this back to our elections. I want the viewers and the voters of Fall River to really look at what these candidates stand for. We're hearing a lot about tax. We hear taxes every year. Every year, not every election. Every year we hear about taxes. They're going up. They're going up. They're going up. I have no choice. I have no choice. I have no choice. But when it comes down to election time, I'm going to look for a way to cut taxes. I'm going to look for a way to downsize government. And then we have, most recently, we had a mayor come in and all of a sudden brought back the old school, brought back all the old guard, and built, more jobs than we know what to do with. So remember what has happened and look forward to Fall River's future, because Fall River's future is not only at the ballot box, it's also in what we decide to do. And it's time for us to decide to take back our community.
Well, you're right. Do not listen to what they say. Watch what they do.
And look at what they've done. Look at what they've done. I mean, just because somebody made a memo that said the mayor's position is ceremonial and it's a part-time position, well, in reality, it should be part-time. The mayor should be out advocating to market the city, not to be governing the city, like taking, micromanaging each department. If the city's running properly, the mayor should be able to market the city and take care of that issue. Well, we're out of time. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and please remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Have a great day.
Yeah.